All right, so here we have a reading for the third quarter of the moon. This is basically the post eclipse energy for what's coming up in the next week. And I'm using the Golden Lenormand up there on the top and the Deviant Moon Tarot on the bottom. So, as far as the Lenormand, we get the fish, the anchor, and the fox. Now, it's a pretty interesting combination. And with Lenormand, I should say that I pretty much straight up use definitions or combinations from a Lenormand book that I've read, because if I use my personal intuition in Lenormand cards, I am always wrong. So that's very different than tarot. The Deviant Moon Tarot, I use pretty much straight up intuition and, 12 years of knowledge of using the deck. But the Lenormand cards are very different for me, and I pretty much use textbook combination meanings, and they end up being pretty fucking accurate that way. So we get the fish, the anchor, and the fox. So the fish and the anchor together is like love for life or a deep spiritual love, right? So then we have the fish and the fox together. And the fish and the fox is basically like an opponent who is talking shit. Um, then the anchor and the fox together is like not being able to trust something that you are kind of anchored to. If you throw them all together, it's like there's this deep love of something, um, or a deep spiritual love of something, and they're connected in with it somehow. Is this person who is like kind of talking shit, and the fox and the anchor there together, it really hints at needing a strong sense of who you are in the face of almost like a betrayal coming from an energy that you are very deeply anchored to and that you love deeply. Now, that doesn't mean that the betrayal is coming directly from that energy, however, it could, but it might be just something connected to that energy. But a real strong sense of self would be helpful up here, as there is like some shit talk that is involved in something that means a great deal to you. So on the bottom, I grab the Deviant Moon, and this is kind of to explain more about what the Lenormand is saying, or like, what do we do about this. And we get the King of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Chariot. Now, initially, it was these two cards that came out, the King of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. And the King of Pentacles is about your investments, and it's basically like your stability. It's wealth and stability, essentially. Your physical stability, like in the home and all that stuff. So here, it's connected with Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is essentially your creative energy that takes a long time to grow. And it's just patience and love and nurturing that's given to this very slow growing energy. But when we look at the Three of Wands, it is also a genuine expression of who you are on the inside. Um, and here, so these two together, it shows that the the investment energy and the energy that like you put into your stability and home, that it's slow growing and that it's genuine. So right away, when we look back up here, do not forget who you are and what you're doing in the face of some fucking bullshit that you did not expect. So, as kind of an addition, we end up with the Chariot, and the Chariot reinforces this, but the Chariot is about goal oriented movement. The Chariot is going this way, right? It knows exactly where it's going. And you see the armor that develops around the person. They kind of have a little bit of tunnel vision. But if you were to talk shit about the chariot doesn't give a fuck. It's moving this way. Like you could throw rocks at the person in the chariot, it would bounce off the armor. You could call them names, they don't care. They're leaving you behind because they're just going directly toward their goal. So there's maybe a little bit of shit talking or some stirring of the soup that happens here in the like spiritual love category, and down here it's saying do not forget who you are, what you're doing, and where you're going. Peace.